Sanding. Sanding. Sanding? Sanding? Sanding. So, I've been sanding now for a few weeks, and we are well past the really coarse 60-80 grit sandpaper, and we're on to the 120, 180, maybe 240 if I'm lucky. Here's where I'm currently at. I'll take you through my kind of nightly routine at this point. The sink looks like this. You can see all the holes and imperfections I had filled last night. The larger one still with the odd bit of P38, but mostly now I'm using stopper. Stopper is designed for the finer marks, dents and scratches than P38. Sand it all back. I'm giving it all a once over here and not just the areas that I've filled. You definitely don't want layers of primer building up upon layers of primer. Plus, the primer paint will help fill the marks left over by your sandpaper. 120, 180 is still quite coarse. So it almost gives you an extra layer of filler without thinking too much about it. If, as you are sanding, you do notice anything immediately that stands out to you, what I like to do is get a pencil and just put a pencil mark around it so I know to go back to it later on. I think it looks pretty funky once sanded back. A colourful trip. Or maybe I've just been at this a bit too long. And then give the whole thing another coat of primer. It is normally getting dark by the time I get to the sink of an evening. I do think I've managed to pick the worst room in our entire house to do this in. You know, I've spent so long trying to improve the presentation of all my videos. I kind of feel bad that I'm having to film this in such a poorly lit room. Oh well, you can forgive me for this one project until we get back into the workshop, can't you? At this stage, I almost like to play a little game with myself. How good a job did I do the night before? How few new holes will there be to fill tonight? But more importantly, did you fill everything well enough last night that you don't have to refill it again tonight? Once primed, let's have a look, shall we? Marks like this, these are the type of dents and nicks you need to apply the stopper to. Sometimes areas like here need reshaping to get a better line or a better curve. So far, I've given this basin 3 goings over, this one 2, and the small basin only once. So I'd expect much more problems in the small basin than the large one. Move around the areas you've primed, systematically so you don't miss anything. Fill as much as you can. Going forward, I won't reprime the whole thing each night. It's a waste of paint. As I get less areas to fill with each pass, I'll probably just sand those down and reprime those specific areas. The entire thing will need several good sandings down as I get to the finishing line, so no need to do it every night. And we're done for tonight. What is it, 10 o'clock at this point? See, if I compare this basin to last night's filling job, there are much fewer areas to sand back down tomorrow night. And that's pretty much it. Live, die, repeat, until there's nothing left to refill. See you tomorrow.